What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka Descendant of Chaos and Controversy, and here I am again with another controversial video, a topic of discussion. And this one is gonna have, I don't know, like a variety of points to cover and discuss, and unfortunately, again, has to involve police shooting. Now, there's a couple of stories that I wanted to highlight. One was the Daunte Wright, and the other one was Adam Toledo. As you see, I got the amazing Lucas in the back, and he was covering that story, and it was talking about compliance, and police reaction to those who are non-compliant, and the results of that, unfortunate outcome of those who are non-compliant. And I guess it comes down to who is more likely to be. How should I put this? What's the term that I'm looking for? Fortunate enough to be non-compliant and walk away unscathed versus those who are non-compliant and end up getting, yeeked. You know, um, I always, stress the fact that whenever engaging an officer, um, don't resist, comply. It kind of brings the collateral damage down to a minimum, um, and it doesn't provoke unfortunate events, so to speak. Um, Sometimes even with compliance put into effect, the outcome still ends up unfortunate because you got officers that have that judge dread mentality, that come up with any and look for any reason and excuse to just want to take a person out of existence. But in agreement to some who argue that, yeah, things could have been avoided had they had not just complied. Um, it's a tough one with the Dante Wright one because I looked at the CNN footage and everything was cool and copacetic. He got out the car, he was following commands, and it wasn't until the female officer, Kim Potter, um, approached the individual, and he just rustled from the officers, broke free, got back into his vehicle, and I guess at that point, since it was a split immediate reaction, um, she reached for her gun instead of the taser, what she thought that she was going for to, neutralize him. Shots was fired, and Dante still was able to drive off. What happened after that, I didn't get all the details behind that. But to say who's at fault, I say both were at fault. One for not complying, and the other for their incompetence. You know, and of course the pattern, which is also all too familiar, go to cliche, is let's dig into the person's background. Let's dig into the person's background. Let's dig into the person's background. I mean, after a while, that just warrants just okay. Let's just forget about the background because you're just gonna try to justify shit, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point, okay? Because we already know how the script is written. It is what it is. Um, but like I said, both parties were at fault. How you gonna have a training officer supposed to be training rookies and stuff like that, and you mess up that bad in the field? It doesn't make any sense. Now, as far as Adam Toledo goes, you know, he was only given a split second to comply before he was gunned down. His hands were up. And if you don't believe me, just look at the amazing Lucas. He was covering that topic. I was watching it and stuff, and it's just like, at what point do we have fair justice? You know, you got the Brandon Tatums of the world that is always going to be in the favor of the police. You know, any subject that encounters or comes across the police or have to deal with the police, automatically, based on his perspective, they're already in the wrong because the police are involved, regardless if it was based on them being called or them just being curious. You're automatically going to be in the wrong as far as Judge Tatum Ruckus dread is concerned, you know. But Adam Toledo, I don't think that was a justified shooting. I don't believe it because, yeah, he should have been running this and this and that. But when he was told to turn around, he turned around with his hands up and it showed it. Boom, he was gunned down. So the go-to question that I always have is, why do we have a court system, where there's supposed to be due process if you're not even alive to make it to your hearing? Because you've been executed in the field by the officers that felt it necessary because they always feel that their life is in jeopardy. They feared for their life. But as it was pointed out, they're the ones with the body armor. They're the ones with the body cams. They're the ones who's holstering weapons. They're the ones with backup. The gang in blue. They're the ones that can manipulate the narrative and stuff to make it seem favorable in regards to where their position is concerned and make you look like you're the bad guy. Now you have to fight and go through all this legal process to prove your innocence, based on what they say. Because they could control your fate. And that's dangerous when you have someone else that could control your fate by just simply saying something and people run with it, not questioning the details and stuff. That's very dangerous when you give people that much power. So it's like a catch-22. It's like you're fucked either way. Because if you do make it unscathed and you do manage to be alive to have a court date and a court hearing, then you got to deal with the narrative. Because then you got to wonder if the details of the report that they filed against you, if all the details and the charges are correct, or are they fabricated, or did they just throw additional shit in to save their own ass? And when you have to wonder and deal with that kind of unnecessariness, then you have to question, what's the point of having a law enforcement if they're just going to be corrupt? Because they talk about, oh, you got to be truthful. You got, as a citizen, this, that, and everything else. But what about the officers? Where is the line drawn for their accountability? They're being a stand-up. I mean, I don't get it. It's just a bunch of bullshit if you ask me. Yeah, there's other topics I wanted to discuss, but I'm like racing against time here because as a father, single father now, I gotta wonder if my son's gonna wake up at any given moment. So but I guess that's all of what I wanted to discuss today. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts. Respond. Like I said, my channel isn't made for an echo chamber. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You're entitled to that. That's your right. That's your liberty. That's your freedom of thought, speech, and expression. But my perspective and my opinion is what it is. But until next time, until next video,